I mean, that's we're just so fortunate we don't have to do that. You know, you can go to a Crossroads and have a nice vegan meal if you want to. You're not really worried about staying alive anymore. We're worried primarily about well, you know, people are worried about the environment. They're worried about the health consequences of certain diets and the environmental consequences of certain diets, and you know, and these people, this is what I've really gotten into after Chris Kresser was on the podcast recently debunking the Game Changers when he was talking about the positive net benefits of regenerative farming. I don't think that's clearly been established worldwide or in large scale, like in terms of, and maybe it can be.
Like, can we do it?
Right.
And feed,
Yeah, can we feed the entire country on that? I mean, I'm not.
Yeah, you know, I think that's the $1 million question right now too, right? Like, well, how are we going to feed however many they're predicting? Like, how are we going to feed the 10 billion people we're going to see in X number of years? And I think it's interesting, and it's certainly worth thinking about. But like, it's also like, well, how far do we keep kicking that ball down the road before we find ourselves in a situation where, like, you know, then what's the next question? 15 billion, 20 billion, and so on and so forth. And eventually, like, you know, we just overpopulate the world, and then it ends really badly for us.
Well, diseases usually follow overpopulation. I think the real key for us, I think, is going to be, and I think this is within our lifetime, is going to be lab-created meat. And I think they're really close to doing that. And I think if you have some sort of ethical, lab-created, nutritious meat where you don't have to worry about suffering or death, if this has been established, then we open up a whole new avenue of exploration. Because now you can say, okay, all these people that are vegan for this moral and ethical sort of dilemma that they have with animal agriculture, killing animals, suffering. Let's take all that out. Now you can eat lab-created meat that has absolutely no suffering attached to it. Let's find out how healthy things really are. And let's find out how many people stay vegan and how many people revert to more omnivorous diet, which, I mean, this is something that vegans hate to hear, but it is a fact. 84% of people who start a vegan diet quit. Now, is that because of taste? Is that because of, and then there's the argument that, well, people that do it over a long period of time, you get a higher retention rate. That's fine. But 84% still is the number. I mean, it doesn't matter if you get a high retention rate for people that have doing it more than 2 years or more than 3 years. Like, if you stick with it, you can do it. No, they're just more committed. But the reality is 84% quit. This is what's been firmly established. What would the number be if there was ethical, humane, lab-created meat that had no suffering attached to it at all? It's just science-based. It's just made with compounds and, you know, whatever they use to create this stuff. That would be interesting. It would be interesting to find out. Could we eliminate large-scale animal agriculture in favor of lab-created meat? And what, if any, environmental factors would there be that would be negative that were attached to lab-created meat? Because you got to think, whenever you're making anything, right, industrial, large-scale, you're going to have waste. What is that waste? Can that waste be mitigated? Can they figure out some sort of a way to have some sort of net positive effect where that waste is utilized in some sort of a form where it actually can contribute to the natural processes of, you know, soil regeneration and manure and, you know, composting and things along those lines?
Yeah, no, I think it's interesting, and we're in an interesting time for sure. It'll be interesting to see where they get with that. And